Hey everybody, this is Ebony and I am coming to you once again. I hope that you guys are having an amazing day. It's beautiful outside. It's summertime, guys. And so I just wanted to stop by just for a few minutes to talk about something that I have been thinking about this morning. When I was on my walk this morning, I was just, really in a place of gratitude and thanksgiving unto God for all the things that He is doing in the lives of His people. And I'm not just talking about me, but I'm just talking about all over, having the benefit of being a part of different groups, whether it's in on social media or whether it's just talking to people. I am in awe of the things that God is doing in the lives of His people. And so I just wanted to stop by just to encourage someone on today. Oftentimes as we always talk about, we can get so caught up in our personal lives and challenges that we might be having, or relationship issues that we might be going through. And we often lose sight of just the goodness of God, just simply the goodness of God. And I was thinking about something this morning, and it's just something real simple that many of us we know, but I was just, I thought about it and I said, God, you know what? You are so amazing. So listen, oftentimes for those of us who are creators, for those of us who just do a lot of things as it relates to our minds and our hands, whether it's fashion, whether it's art, whether it's whatever that creative talent, writing, whatever that creative talent that God has given you. One of the things I thought about is just how we, the children of God, is a part of our Father's intellectual property. Think about that for a minute. So when you think about intellectual property, what do you think about? You think about the thoughts and the ideas that you create. It becomes yours. And oftentimes we have to go through that process of legalizing our intellectual property so that we can produce, or so that we can reproduce. And even as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about how good God is. Do you know that the idea is this? We were a thought in our creator's head. Like, we were something that he fashioned and he made just for him and just for his people. Think about it. For those of you who are creators, when you are coming up with that next book, when you are coming up with that next song, or when you are coming up with that great masterpiece, there is a lot of intention that is involved with creating. There is a lot of thinking. There is a lot of strategy involved. There is a very intense attention to detail as it relates to art, and in terms of making sure that you don't cross lines of boundaries, and making sure that the colors complement one another. And when you're writing, you're strategic about putting your thoughts together. You are, extremely intentional as it relates to being able to illustrate a thought in an excellent manner. And I couldn't help but attribute all those things to the great creator, the creative one, the creator of all heaven and earth, and just how amazing he is, and how intricate and strategic he was in creating every single one of us. And for those of you who are creators, you know the whole process that it takes for you to create something. And oftentimes you also realize that when you create something and then it doesn't produce that which you created it for, there is a sense of disappointment that you experience. There is a sense of I want to do it all over again, that you may come to, because you're not satisfied with the product, right? And one of the things about God is he doesn't make mistakes. Like he is, we can make mistakes, or we may not always do things right, but we serve a perfect God, right? And so he creates us and he fashions us, but it's our responsibility to really execute and implement that which he's created. And so for those of you who know me, it's all about purpose. It's all about identifying your gifts and developing character and building capacity, but I could not help but think about just how great he is and just how intentional he was when he created me and when he created you. And I believe that every one of us, we have a purpose and we have an assignment. And it's not about the length of time it takes for us to discover and to activate, but it's important for us to discover and to allow ourselves to be activated on earth. When I thought about this morning as I was walking and, just admiring and appreciating the creation of God, I could not help but think about his people and think about me and think about all of his creation and the attention to detail and the specificity of each of his masterpieces. Think about how you were created, and think about all of the intricate parts of who you are as a person. And you can't help but first of all, you can't help but kick yourself in the butt for those parts that you don't really like, but just think about for a minute all of the good stuff, all of the great stuff, right? Because we know that all good and perfect things comes from the Lord. And so I want to stay in that vein, because sometimes when we think about ourselves, we just start thinking about all of the bad things. But just for the sake of what I'm talking about right now, I just want you to think about the greatness of God in you. What is that like? For those of you who are in touch with your creativity, and for those of you who are in touch with your gifts and with your purpose, what feeling do you experience when you are activated in that purpose? Or what feeling do you experience when you are creating? And I would really liken that to the fact that, and it's something that I talked about last week sometimes as it relates to worship, and really understanding that our activation and our, carrying out our assignments and gifts on earth is a form of worship to our Heavenly Father. And so, my question is, what does it feel like when you are flowing in that area, when you are flowing in that that creative space? So when you are flowing in your area as it relates to your gifts and your talents, do you experience the love of the Father? Do you feel the presence of God as you move through or as you create? And I just want to challenge someone to grow deeper into who you are as God has created you to be, because I believe the more we get into that place where we are becoming more of what God is creating us to be, I am certain, there is a guarantee in my heart that the more we get in line with the purpose and the plan and the power that's in us, right? The more we are in line with that, the more we experience his presence. And I don't know if any of you who are watching this, maybe you can attest to that and put it in the comments. But it is so important for us to understand that God made you for a purpose, and he made you for such a time as this. He created you for his people. And so it's so important for you to connect with that thing which he has created in you, and then allow it to be poured out into the world. Do not, do some of us, we hide ourselves, and we hide the very things that makes us who we are as believers and as children of God and as gifts, sent to this earth. We oftentimes we hide ourselves. And I just want to challenge somebody today to come out of hiding and begin to experience the fullness of God in the intention and the way that he designed for you to be on earth. I cannot stop saying what the word of God says. It talks about the heavens is the Lord, but the earth belongs to us. And so what that means is that we have to begin to be activated on the earth. And don't box yourself in. Oftentimes we are, we are kind of fixed as it relates to, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And God may be expanding you, and, God may be stretching you. And, my plea and my challenge is to anyone who's listening to this message. I want you to allow the Lord to stretch you. I want you to allow the Lord to make you pliable and flexible, so that your mind and your heart will begin to open, so that you can receive the fullness of the Father. One of the things that I know without a shadow of a doubt as a therapist, our negative experiences and our life's journeys and our, issues, whether it's with relationships and all that other stuff, has a way of shaping us. It has a way of shutting us down. It has a way of showing us the negative parts about ourselves. But I want to challenge you to be stretched and to be pulled from a place of complacency and comfortability, and allow the Lord to stretch you to a place of openness and flexibility and courage and willingness to move into those strange places. And I want, in this season, I want to be stretched, and I challenge you to want to be stretched. I believe that we are in a pivotal moment all over the land. We are all saying the same thing. There is nothing that I'm saying right now that maybe 1,000 people haven't said this day. But for those of you who are watching this message, I challenge you to allow yourself to be flexible. Allow yourself to experience the fullness of the Father in you. I hope this message has been encouraging, and have an amazing day, guys.